So you're finally to one of the most important assignments of this course. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it is probably the most important assignment. So all this work that you've done on needs analysis and research, all that's feeding into the program outcomes. So you've been, looking at internal, external stakeholders, external standards, learning from the field. And what we're going to do now is we're going to try to turn all of that into some outcomes. So we have this assignment, and you're going to be developing program outcomes. So what it says is use the program research, curriculum map, and assessment plan template you created in the previous unit to complete the program outcomes section at the bottom of the curriculum map. So this is the blank section. But what you're going to do, so you have your needs analysis. You should have filled that out. So think about, based on these needs, what are the outcomes that you should be using? That's the whole point of this exercise. But another exercise here is you should have filled in this program outcomes section. It's at the bottom of the research on comparable programs. And what you should be doing is, for each of these institutions that you look up, you should put their outcomes here. And the idea is that you want to try to line those up. So that's going to be the first part of your assignment. So as we go into, starting the assignment. So it says, using the program, using this template you created, compile all the program outcomes you can find in the program outcomes section. Now, one of the challenges is going to be a lot of organizations don't list those on their program page, but usually you can find them in the institution's catalog. So if you go to their catalog and then you look for that program, usually they will list the program outcomes. Now, keep in mind, a lot of institutions, their program outcomes are not well written. They're written by people who don't know good instructional design or good program design. So make sure that you're using a good model to learn from. So part of what you're trying to do also is you're going to try to line up the rows and outcomes of the various institutions that seem similar. And that's going to help you think about common outcomes that might be important. And then based on that, what you're going to do is you're going to populate the program outcomes section of the curriculum map. So again, just coming back, the first part, what you're going to be doing is you're going to put, say you look up, Azusa Pacific's program or Grand Canyon or some other group, and you're going to put all their outcomes there. Then you're going to put them here, and then you're going to try to get them all lined up. And then after you do that, you can start to think about, if you want, you can do rough drafts here. But ultimately, where you're going to put this is you're going to put it in the curriculum map. So the idea on the curriculum map is you're going to have your program outcomes. I just listed 5 here. You can have, generally you don't want to get over 8 program outcomes. And then the idea is that the map itself is going to be a map between your program outcomes and courses that can demonstrate those outcomes have been achieved through signature assessments. So again, that's your goal. Now I'm going to show you some examples. Whenever I developed these degrees, I didn't have this exact same template, but you'll get the basic idea. So in this case, this was for a graduate certificate in ministry, and I looked at different programs. Fuller had very basic program outcomes, but Moody actually had pretty good program outcomes. I also looked at undergraduate certificates program outcomes, and those were harder to get to. And then I used that to develop the graduate certificate. In this case, the graduate certificate only had 2 program outcomes because there's only 12 courses. And then we, developed a program map for these based on the 2 outcomes that are here. So you can see the same type of process that I did for an associate's program. So I listed our outcomes, and then I looked at some at Moody's, some at Biola, and then some at Grand Canyon, Global University. And what I was doing was trying to learn from those, and then based on that, I developed these outcomes, which later will go into a curriculum map. Now, you're not doing curriculum mapping yet, but you're going to be doing that later. And then the last one, in this case, for the business program, I did a pretty good job of comparing these outcomes. And I got the outcomes from a lot of different sources. So here, I got them from, Kaplan, Liberty, and then I lined them up to where they were, here are the common outcomes. So one was on communications. And I also looked at some other sources, industry sources. Wiley had some really good outcomes at various levels. So that's what you're going to be doing this week, is you're going to be trying to, take your needs analysis information, then take some of this program outcome from other institutions, learn from that, and then you're going to be putting your program outcomes here on your curriculum map. That's going to be the first part of your curriculum map. So hopefully, if you have any questions, then you can interact or send me a message or work with other students. Thanks a lot.